And welcome back to the Kenny and JT Show here on News Talk 1480 WHBC. And if you're at home, you can watch us live right now on Facebook Live. We've got a very special guest via the Wake 'em Way hotline. He is the new head football coach at Perry High School. Officially, they moved him into that slot last night at the Board of Education meeting. Zach Slates joins us on the Kenny and JT Show. Coach, congratulations and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys having me on.
So you've been there for a while as an assistant. You played there, so you're coming back to your alma mater in a new capacity as the head coach. What's it mean to you to take over for the old man, and we kindly refer to him as the old man, Keith Wakefield?
It means a lot. Having his blessing to take it over was huge for me, and him pushing to make sure that I was the next one in line for it was big for me. You don't really you got to coach for somebody else to understand how much Coach Wakefield can teach you as a coach. And I mean, it's unbelievable what he's taught me. Just the experiences both on the field, off the field, life lessons. He tells you all. He tells all.
What a great compliment, taking over an iconic program like that. When we talk iconic, he pretty much made it iconic. And from now on, forevermore, you're going to be connected to the hip. Now, when they make this announcement last night, and we had talked to the coach, about 2 months ago, right, Kenny? He mentioned the fact that he knew who was going to be pretty much the front runner for the position, and we're glad to find out that it's you. But I'm wondering how he responded when he found out you're putting in a spread offense next season.
We're not going to do that.
Go over, Coach.
No, we're not going to do that. But it's. I mean, he's instilled a lot of the values and all those types of things that you got to have a program to build a program, and all the conversations I've ever had with him, all the places he's been, he's fixed things. That's what he's done. And we went to St. V's, and I was up there with him, and he fixed the program. And if we would have stayed a couple more years, we probably would have done some damage in the tournament. But coming back here, I was a part of the staff before he got back, and it was in disarray, and he came back and fixed it. I mean, it got worse before it got better, but it got better in a hurry.
The wing tee, do you have to be a student? I mean, obviously I kid about that, but I mean, when I talk about the wing tee, do you need to be a student of that offense to really grasp it? Did it take you this long to get a firm handle on that offense?
Yeah, I mean, it does. It takes a long time just to know the intricacies of what you got to do, what blocking changes you got to make in the game. And the iPads have done wonders for us. There's so much blocking changes they got to do depending on whether a guy's in an inside shade or an outside shade or head up. That's helped us out a lot, being able to have that replay and know exactly, because when you get 16-year-olds coming off the side where they lined up at, and they're like, I don't know. So they're sort of like right here.
Yeah, right. So for you as an offensive lineman, when you played, you were 6'3", 210 pounds, as I said on the show the other day. I was off by 100 pounds. But having been a lineman playing in that offense, Zach, how much has that helped you be able to understand it better and teach it maybe, playing for Coach Wakefield and coaching with Coach Wakefield?
And that was one of the biggest things he taught me when I was at St. Vincent St. Mary's with him is you can't expect these kids to be you, and you can't coach them like they're you, and they have your capabilities. So that's Wake's big thing was figure out a way to make the kid learn and make them better and make them understand what we're trying to get accomplished. And if you can't, you got to do it a different way.
Go ahead, JT.
Your method, your style of coaching. Are you one of those fire and brimstone guys, or are you more of a cerebral approach? How do you get along with your players?
I mean, I've coached and played for Wake, so I got a lot of that in me. So I'm pretty fiery.
Good.
All right. So what about? Go ahead, JT. I'll follow up later.
The reason I asked the question is because, for me anyway, and I look back on this in my playing days through college and then coaching a little bit, the discipline factor is humongous for me. And to be able to instill that, I think, means so much into a program that, let's face it, you guys had a great level of success last year. And to keep that thing going, you got to make sure that those kids are going to listen to you. And we've heard time and time again, my kid will run through a brick wall for Wakefield. You gonna do the same for you?
That's the plan. Just keeping still the same concepts and ideas and values that he's set forth, and I just want to continue on with what he's done. Obviously, there's going to be changes, and I'm going to do things differently than what he did them, but not as far as mentality or the focus of our program.
We're happy to have Zach Slates, the new head football coach at Perry, joining us here on the Kenny and JT Show. Again, if you want to watch us on Facebook Live, you can go to the WHBC Facebook page. Check it out right now. So last night they announced not only that you get the job officially, but Coach Wakefield was there. He didn't know the other announcement that was coming. So take us through what that was like last night when the Board of Education officially announced that Perry Stadium will now be called Wakefield Stadium.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like he said last night, you talked about a little bit before he came on the air, is that he's like, I wouldn't have come tonight if I knew they were doing this. And but it's a long time coming, and it needed to get done, and needed to get done quick, because everything that he's done for this community, not just football or football players. I mean, he's brought a community together for over 30 years. And it's what he's done is you can't put a value on that. And, and the least thing that we could do is name the stadium after him.
No pressure.
It's awesome what they did with the design, with the stripes and the Federal League championships and the stars for the 2 state title runs. And I mean, it was pretty special.
Yeah, no pressure there. You're just replacing a guy. They just renamed the stadium. Coach, talk about being inducted into the Stark County High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome honor. Like I said at the board meeting last night, Wake's been in 15 Hall of Fames, and he's like, it doesn't really matter what this is, but it was awesome. I really appreciated it. It sucked a little bit because it was during the middle of COVID, so we didn't really have a banquet or anything like that. But I mean, I know it was very important to my family that they're all super excited about everything that's happened in the past year.
Awesome.
So your assistant role with Coach Wakefield over these years, what was your role there? And how is that going to help you as you transition into this head coach's role now?
I mean, a lot of the paperwork and that types of stuff that he would typically do, I've been doing for the past couple of years. So he's got me doing the administrative side of things for a couple of years now, and going to meetings and doing all that stuff. So like that aspect, and I work closely with our booster club. So I mean, I've done that for years. So that sort of stuff isn't really a shock to me. It's just going out and coaching and having a little bit more responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
We got a great staff, and the good thing is we got a great staff that's been here for a couple of years, and we're going to add a couple guys, but we didn't lose anybody off of last year's staff, so we're good that way. And being around coach for as many years as these guys have, it's helped them as well. I mean, it's been unbelievable for all of us to be able to stick together and get through some things and be through 2 state title runs and win multiple Federal League championships. So I got a good staff, and it's going to be good.
Seems like a seamless transition, and you guys are poised and ready. What's the first order of business, and who do you bring back from last year's squad?
We bring back a decent amount of kids. Obviously, our running backs, we graduated all 3 of those guys. Josh Lemon's a special running back. He's like Keyshawn Sims a couple years ago. I mean, obviously Keyshawn's in a whole other league with rushing for over $3,000 in a year. I mean, you don't get many running backs like that. No, we have some good young running backs. We bring back some offensive linemen, defensive lineman guys. Bring back a couple of DBs. So we got a good core brought back from last year. We had a really good leadership group of seniors last year, not just captains, but just seniors in general that were really good. And that's going to be the toughest thing to replace from last year.
All right. I've got my phone out here now, and I'm looking at DraftKings, and it says under head coach Zach Slates, Perry football over/under throwing the football is 10 times a game. So, Coach, is it going to be over 10 or is it going to be under 10 with you as the head coach?
That's a pretty good line.
Because when we were doing your guys' games, we would always wonder before the game. All right, are we going to see 4, 5? What's the number? So share with us going into the game. Is there like a number you guys were looking for under Coach Wakefield, or would it just evolve as the game evolved?
I mean, that's just something that comes along with the game, and if there's something open, and like with what we do. A lot of times they'll bring safeties down into the box, and we'll try to hit them on a rundown predominantly and get a pass over the top. We've had some guys in the past couple years that have been able to take the top off a little bit, and we've been able to hurt some people going deep. So I mean, that is just seeing where those safeties were, and if we had an opening.
All right, I've got to ask you, old school Coach Wakefield again. You're going to be tied to the hip, like JT said, with him forever, right?
Yeah.
He would tell me the importance of the Federal League to him, how much it meant to win the Federal League. Some coaches nowadays are more worried whether they're in a conference or an independent of just what happens in the postseason. But to Coach Wakefield, winning the Federal League outright or as a co-champion meant a lot to him. Where are you with that?
It means everything, especially now with there being 16 teams in the playoffs. I mean, it's you better get into the playoffs at this point. With 16 teams getting in, and that's not to take a slight on anybody that hasn't been in the past couple of years. It's just we're expecting to be in the top 8 now. I mean, we're expecting to make the playoffs every year in and year out, and it makes winning the Federal League that much more important to us as a team. So.
Yeah, because he would always talk about that. JT, you knew that. You played it. You know what that's like.
We get ready for this 2021 season. Just like everything else, we're expecting full capacity stadiums. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are really excited about a new head coach. And you're going to take a lot of things from what you've learned over the past. You've been coaching since, 2010, correct? Two totally different styles. What will you bring with you from either one, or is everything going to be your own with the exception of that offense?
No, I mean, I think like the old adage goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like we've done a pretty good job. We're coming off the year where we went 6-0 in the regular season and made the playoffs and had a deep run. And I mean, we went 10 years without winning a single Federal League championship while Wake was gone, and that's because somebody came in and they thought they were going to do it their way instead of the way that works here at Perry, and it does. And Wake, I'm sure you guys heard Wake say this a million times, it is different here at Perry than it is anywhere else. And you can't do a lot of things that you can do other places that you have to do here to give yourself an advantage week in and week out with the athletic teams that we play in the Federal League and out of conference.
So we work there.
What was that?
Why does it work at Perry? And if it's so popular at Perry, for me, it makes it hard to imagine why other teams would not try to replicate that.
I mean, you're talking about Wake, who's been retired since my sophomore, junior year of high school. And I mean, he's willing to go places that other coaches aren't willing to go with just pushing the kids. And he's never crossed the line with any of that stuff. It's just the mental drive that he has for the kids to do things perfect and rep and it gets boring, and coaches don't like to do that a lot of times. They get like he always says is we're going to take away the run from people and we're going to make them pass to beat us. Well, people are so quick to get away from the run because I'm not going to do it. It doesn't work. We can't run the ball, so we're just going to go throw the ball 30 times. So it's just sticking to our guns and sticking to what our values are and sticking to what we're good at and winning ball games.
Happy to have Zach Slates, the new head football coach there for Perry, joining us on the Kenny and JT show. So we did have Coach Wakefield on not too long ago, and JT asked him a question, and he kind of started to answer it and then danced around it. He's supposedly retired, okay? So who knows? He might go somewhere else to be a coach, or he might be that coach sitting up in the stands watching what you're doing down there, and then after the game coming up to you and saying, hey, Zach, let me give you a couple pointers, on what's going on out there. Are you going to be interacting with him, you think, during camps and in the season, and do you expect to hear on the phone from him if not anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, and he's on the right to do whatever he wants now, and I want him to be able to do whatever he wants. And he always says, "I'm not going to be around unless you call me." And I sort of giggle like, "Well, get your phone ready because I'm going to be calling." but no, I mean, having somebody like that in your corner and being able to have open lines of communication with and help out with this transition and everything he's done the past couple of years to get me prepared for this. He's never going to be gone and
right.
out of here. And like you said last night at the board meeting, that this place is special to him because this is where he grew up, or this is where he raised a daughter, lived the majority of his life with his wife and kid and coached. So he'll be around, and I think he'd say a little bit more aggressively if he was sitting in the stands.
What a great stamp of approval, though, to know that, with that stamp of approval, it makes it that much easier, I'd have to imagine. And, moving forward, that if you do need to go to the bullpen, he's always there for a helping hand.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable. And when we talked to our staff, and they were nothing but excited that
awesome.
That he talked about me doing it, and they were all on board from the beginning, and it was really an easy, simple transition that way. That there was no animosity, there was nothing amongst us and the staff, and we have a good staff, and we're really close. So that's good.
Well, we're having our Zoom meeting next week to put our high school football schedule together. We can't wait. I know you can't wait to get after it. And I'm just giving you a little heads up. I do the sideline reporting for our radio game. So I'll be the guy bothering you either at halftime or after the game to come on the radio with us. And I've learned to be patient because you like to talk to your players there at Perry first, then to us. So I'll give you the same respect that I gave Coach Wakefield, all right?
I appreciate that.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on with us, Zach. Congratulations on being named the head football coach there at Perry. Good luck with everything, and we'll talk again down the road, all right?